Get on Team Shaq with WinBet. We're playing parlays, boosting odds, and laying the wildest prop bets. Don't miss another game. Download the WinBet sport betting app today.
Sign up today and win $200 in free bets when you place a $50 first-time wager on a straight bet or parlay. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in a state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Virginia. WinBet is now live in all these states, and the excitement of Win Las Vegas has finally landed in online sports betting and casino play. From boosted parlays to live in-game betting odds on every major sport, WinBet gives you the tools to win. Sign up today for your risk-free $1,000 sports bet. Download the WinBet app now or visit wynnbet.com to start winning.
Hello and welcome to the RotoViz College Football Fantasy Podcast, your place for all things Devy, college DFS, and college football betting advice. Probably some unabashed homerism sprinkled in there. I'm your host, Stefan Laco, joined by my co-host, Matt Wispay. Matt, I know you're a little under the weather today, so thank you so much for joining me. Last week's solo pod was not as good as you'd imagine it to be. I'm glad you're here, man. Sorry you're not feeling well. Other than that, how you holding up?
It's been a crazy week. I did some traveling, which was interesting. There was a football game that happened in Ann Arbor. I guess I don't know what happened there. Then the world got turned on its head. So it's been fun. I mean, I've had a good time. It's just been one of those weeks. So it's been a little crazy. And now I think I caught I think my wife had a cold and I think I just caught it. So feeling great.
Yeah, that's always fun. Always fun. Yeah. Bananas, man. It's been a crazy week. You've got your cliche question of like, speaking of bananas, your cliche question of the week. That was a
How
transition I was
batshit
looking
crazy
for.
is the coaching carousel? I had bananas. That's why he said bananas like 3 times.
Yeah.
So the coaching carousel, obviously the first big breaking news was Lincoln Riley to USC after he had the day before gone out and said, I am not the next head coach of LSU, blah, 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 blah. Now, I will just say I have now seen from several credible reports, and as well as some friends of mine that do have some sources within the South, that LSU story that they were fully anticipating that Lincoln Riley was going to be their next head coach and that they were preparing an announcement that Sunday was true.
Wow.
He had verbally agreed, or let me rephrase this. Reportedly, he had agreed in principle, and then that Saturday morning he woke up and changed his mind. That story is crazy, and it's amazing. And then, I mean, him going to USC, to be quite honest, is landscape shifting. It makes it elevates the Pac-12 to a pretty high level. It's broke the standardization that we have of like how recruiting works, because he essentially just pillaged the entire OU class because of the way he had set it up. He is going to his 2022 class may not be amazing, but he is, because of the excitement he has brought back to USC, he's getting some very highly regarded prospects that were perceived to be drifting elsewhere, that now the moment he got announced basically flipped to USC leans. So there's going to be some excitement. And I mean, even you as an Oregon fan will kind of admit when USC is A+ or even A, they're going to kind of run that conference in a way that I'm not sure anyone else is capable of.
Completely agree. I hated this from a Ducks fan perspective. Love it for the Pac-12. I think it does change the landscape quite a bit. It's interesting, like some of those top recruits are already switching over to USC now, from Oklahoma, from other places. He's bringing in.
I mean, USC's 2023 class is going to be ridiculous. He's already gotten commitments from multiple the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the class of 2023. He just added another commitment today. Yeah, I mean, I expect him to clean up. The one thing that's sort of interesting, the biggest dynamic, I was just talking with someone about this today, is USC for about 5-ish years has been, or the state, I should say, the state of California has been seen as very under recruited. And that's why people across the country were able to pillage it, because USC was not recruiting to the highest level. And so it's just an interesting thing to see. Really what he does. So, yeah, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, you're good. I mean, yeah, the days of Oregon going in there and taking all their favorites is over. They'll get a couple because that's the nature of recruiting. They're not like USC isn't going to lock down everyone, but Oregon was dominating down there, and that's probably not going to take place anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Mario Cristobal.
Yeah.
He's put together a really great class. 4 years, 3 years in a row now.
hmm
So I don't think like I had become used to Oregon having a top 10, top 5 class. I don't think that's going to be the future.
Yeah, I think what we just saw was USC is probably now 2 years away from really being a playoff contender. I don't think they have the guys yet to actually make a run next year, even with his scheme. But I think they become, not next year, but the following year, they're probably a legitimate playoff contending team. And that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a lot like Oklahoma. I think they're going to get pushed around in the trenches quite a bit, like we see a lot of Pac-12 teams
Mhm.
do. And once they get to the playoff, it's going to be a real struggle. But that's most teams in the country, right? Like there's very few
Correct.
teams that have had playoff success year in and year out. So yeah,
Agreed.
uh,
The one, and then so with that news obviously coming out, the immediate aftershock was, well, if LSU really thought they were getting Lincoln Riley, they must be down to like their second and third choices, and oh my gosh, they must be. Who are they going to get? The panic, because I mean, in some circles, Billy Napier was seen as their backup plan. That if they couldn't get Jimbo, if they couldn't get Lincoln, that Billy Napier was just this good coach that was out there, and they were making choices. And then out of nowhere, a report came out that Brian Kelly was being interviewed, and within about 10
minutes
minutes
it
of that
felt
report,
like. Yeah.
like, and then he was the next head coach. And it was just like, obviously the immediate reaction of Twitter was making fun of Brian Kelly going down to Louisiana, because Brian Kelly is the least Louisiana person on planet Earth. But from a coaching perspective, I think it's a good hire. If One sec. Dang it. One moment. My baby monitor is currently going off because has a dead battery.
As long as the baby's okay. Is the baby
He's still
okay?
fine, and I'm next door to him, so I can hear him if something
Okay.
happens.
There we go.
Um,
All is well, listeners. No need to panic.
So, I guess my thought from a coaching perspective is that Brian Kelly's style is kind of the opposite of Lincoln Riley. He is I'm going to win the trenches, I'm going to run the ball down your throat, and I'm going to play good defense. And he doesn't care about the flash and pizzazz. So, like, you're not going to get under Brian Kelly the 2019 LSU that just takes out over college football with this ridiculous high flying offense. But what you might see is him really go down there, embrace the state of Louisiana, just get all of the swamp monsters that live in Louisiana to come play college football for him that he couldn't recruit when he was at Notre Dame, and really just play Brian Kelly football down there. I think it's an interesting fit. I think he has an opportunity there to be very successful. And I think this played to me as just a good hire. It's a quote unquote sexy hire because it's Brian Kelly and you're taking a guy who is a legitimate playoff contending team away from that. But I do think that this hire is also just a smart change to what LSU is right now. So I think that's a strong hire. Which did you? So how much of the Notre Dame stuff did you keep up with after it got announced that he was leaving?
I saw that like he had like a meeting with the players at like
Yeah.
7:30 or something in the morning and all this kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And It just seemed really freaking weird to me. Like it was like immediate. Like also, if you're Brian Kelly and LSU's here, yeah, can we just wait in a week to see if we're in the
Yeah.
playoff before we do this? Like, can we wait?
But
Like,
I
yes,
think
but
I think with some of these things, I think it's all of this stuff, all these announcements are very strategically done
sure.
because they're trying to early signing period begins on December 15th. Once December 15th happens, if you are LSU, you need to have a strong class in place. So it's kind of just one of those things where I think they were trying to get this hiring done, and I just don't think Brian Kelly has all that much loyalty. The things, so like the text message he sent at 10 o'clock at night that basically said, "Hey, we have a 7 a.m. meeting, and I'll talk to you in person." Then it was I've watched it, so like it is leaked. There's someone who videoed it, put it up on Twitter. There is a leaked version of the actual meeting. It's real quick. Like
Oh yeah,
he said it is. Now I don't know what you want from him. I don't like he shouldn't stand up there for 20 minutes lying and blowing smoke up everyone's ass about, "Oh, I wish I could stay." No, you don't. You took a job.
yeah.
Um but apparently that led to like Marcus Freeman didn't take kindly to it and pretty much chewed him out afterwards. And that was
Well, I
when the
guess he's not
rallying.
going. I guess he's not going to LSU with them then, huh?
No. So then obviously he attempted to get his strength and conditioning coach, his offensive line coach, Marcus Freeman, defensive coordinator, and Tommy Reese, offensive coordinator. He tried to get all these people to follow him. He struck out on all four. And then Marcus Freeman basically got all of the player support immediately following it as the guy they wanted to be head coach. So even though there was a report that came out that they really were targeting Luke Fickell and that was who they were zeroing in on, pretty quickly after that, all the momentum shifted to Marcus Freeman, which is a great hire. And I mean, it's a big jump up from being defensive coordinator underneath a coach that's been doing it for years and years and years. But it's a hire that will not change things. The fact that they kept a lot of the pieces in place, they kept Tommy Reese on offense. They're going to run the same offense. They're going to run the same defense. I fully expect that to be a still viable program next year. Which, to be honest, at 10 o'clock at night when I saw Brian Kelly was leaving for LSU, they had a chance to go the same route as Oklahoma, where the world is falling. And it's just not. It doesn't appear to be that way. So it's interesting. So those are the big hirings that happened. I guess from the list I sent you, we'll do one that shocks you and one that you just think is a good hire that isn't as quote unquote sexy.
Yeah, the good hire is I think Washington hit a home run with Kalen DeBoer from Fresno State. I think he has done a lot with um, mediocre talent. Washington, he should be able to recruit really well out there. It's a beautiful city, beautiful stadium, great facilities. Not of course
He gets
as
his quarterback back.
yeah, it's not.
That's
It's
hilarious.
yeah. But I liked that hire. I thought it was kind of underrated. I also like what Washington State did. I mean, Jake Dickert had that program after Rolovich kind of chose
Quit.
to
He quit.
yeah, chose to be fired, um, that could have gone south really easily. The fact that they were able to, pull together and still play hard for him, speaks to something, speaks to a decent culture that he's able to put into place. The one that surprised me is for some reason, like, I have been living under a rock. I didn't realize that my team's offensive coordinator, Oregon's Joe Moorhead, took off for Akron. That is head scratching to me. I don't see that as a positive move for one's career. Like, yes, you become the HC, but man, offensive coordinator at Oregon with the weapons that they have coming back, like their receiver core is so young and talented. Travis Dye will most likely be back. They've got a great offense, great offensive line. You've got Ty Thompson coming back. You probably have the opportunity to snag at least one decent, if you want, you can snag one of these decent quarterbacks that are hitting the transfer portal. Why would you want to leave? It makes no
Or
sense.
wide receivers. I mean, the wide receiver talent that's currently in the portal is banana. Like all of the elite Oklahoma wide receivers
Yeah,
are
but
reportedly
Oregon,
going in the portal.
I think Oregon doesn't need them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like they've been not drafting, sorry. They've been recruiting 4 and 5 star receivers over the last 2 and 3 years that are ready to ready to. Anyway, that one surprised me quite a bit.
So I'll jump in with this as well. I mean, I think strong hire. Billy Napier is just a good hire.
Yeah, for sure.
In talking to my sources from the South, I can tell you that they were very impressed with the way he came into the interview because he was very prepared. He came in with a budget he wanted for recruiting. He came in with like how he planned to rebuild that culture and rebuild where they're coming from. Because to be honest, Florida's not that far off Oklahoma. Their whole program kind of quit on them midseason. They went from being people had them as this top 10 team because they played close with Alabama. Then they played sort of close with Georgia. I don't know if you can call that game close, but they played like sort of close with Georgia, and then the wheels fell off. And to be honest, they were lucky to beat Florida State. It's just one of those things where like that hire was pretty important. And rather than going for the flashy name out there, like you didn't ever hear them connected to Lincoln Riley, didn't ever hear them connected. They zeroed in on Billy Napier. And part of the reason was because they knew Virginia Tech wanted him. They knew that was Virginia Tech's top guy on the board. And so they quickly moved swiftly and they said, we are going to get him. So that was my big thoughts on that one. The surprising one was Brent Pry. And it's not because I think he's a bad hire. It's just that Virginia Tech, and to be honest, now that Virginia just opened up, I don't understand why Jamie Chadwell is not the head coach of somewhere else yet. That one seems too easy. And it would bring a lot of excitement to a fan base. So I was just a little bit shocked that they went for a good coach rather than a little bit splashy. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So, but that's really where I'm at on all this. So I think let's get a word from our sponsors and then we'll jump into some bets for the week.
Let's do it.
The right draft pick can take your team to the playoffs and beyond. When you're scouting prospects, you need a powerful partner. You need Indeed. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. One of the things I love about Indeed is the virtual interviews. A lot of people are working from home. They do not want to come into an office. And with Indeed, it saves you time. You can message, schedule, and interview top talent seamlessly, all in one place. Sign up for Indeed now and get a $75 credit towards your first sponsored job. Plus, earn up to $500 extra in sponsored job credits with Indeed's virtual interviews. Visit Indeed.com/Blue Wire to learn more. Claim your credits at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Shopify is the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. And I love it because Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources that were once reserved for big businesses. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. I don't talk about it a ton, but I have a fishing company. 5 years ago this month, my best friend Aaron and I started a bass fishing weight company called Woo Tungsten, because woo is the sound you make when you catch a giant bass. So we sell tungsten weights for bass fishing, and Shopify has made it so incredibly easy. They have all the tools and the resources that we need. No matter how big or small your business is, they just make it so effortless. And like mine, Shopify powers over 1.7 million businesses from first sale to full scale. And you can reach customers online and across social networks with their ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. And you can gain insights as you grow with detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond, which is something we use a ton. More than just a store, Shopify grows with you. Go to shopify.com/Blue Wire, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business today with Shopify. Go to shopify.com/Blue Wire right now. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Shopify.com/Blue Wire.
All right, we're back. Let's do it. I'm excited. We're not quite at the end of the season, but man, I feel like this season has flown by. We're at the conference championships. Insane. Of course, we also have this random USC Cal game. I will have
Which is
nothing on that.
amazing.
But let's get into it.
Picks of the week.
You take 1 week off and you forget about our drops.
Well, no, it's less that I wasn't. I was just going to quickly say I don't want to hide from it. Obviously, I did trash last week in my picks.
Oh, yeah.
I went legit. I think I went 2-7. Nope. Yep. 2-7 last week on my picks. I was minus 6.8 units. I'm still up a little bit on the year. I'm up like 4.5 units. But yeah, I mean, not going to dwell on the past. Obviously, I misread some of these games. I'm going to blame the fact that I was doing this from a cell phone while sitting in an airport.
Yes, I think
But
that's
that's a
legit.
lie. That's
Oh.
a lie. I mean, that is what I did, but that's not why my picks were a mistake. I had a misread on stuff, and to be honest, I made a couple of picks with my heart, and those picks with my heart came back to bite me. So we're gonna jump into, or I guess, would you like to talk about your strong week, because you did have a plus week last week?
Yeah, I had a good week. I don't have all the picks in front of me. I just felt good about.
You went 6-4, and we're up 1.44 units on the week. That brings you to
Still negative on the year.
negative 17.46 on the season. Really, you had a couple of -6 weeks in there that really just
I
were
think I
they were
bet
big holes.
you have me at negative 12, but whatever.
I don't, because that's not updated. I'm looking at the actual
Oh.
spreadsheet.
I liked my version better.
My apologies. So this week's going to be a little bit different, and it's because the slate is fairly limited. And one of the things I will tell you is, show some restraint when you're making these plays out there. It's easy to say bet every game that's a college game or a college championship game, but to be honest, I don't think that this is a super duper strong week, and I think it could get kind of crazy. So I limited myself to just doing 4 units for this week. I only have 4 picks. So essentially I'm just leaving my 6 units out there to be effectively pushes. But I told Stefan he was allowed to do as many picks as he wanted, up to 10. So
guess how many I have.
10.
Yes, sir.
Here's my
rule of thumb. Just broad strokes. If someone's like, "What do you think is going to happen this week?" My 2 least favorite things: underdogs and unders. Like, that's kind of where I'm leaning. Like, give me the dogs, give me the unders this week. Those are going to be most of my plays.
Funny, I like a lot of the favorites. I think I like almost all of the favorites.
Well, let's start with one favorite that I'm rolling out with. We just saw this game not long ago. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points with Utah. I don't think Oregon gets embarrassed like they did last time. I think they're going to be able to keep it close, but 2.5 is such a small number. And on FanDuel, I've got it at minus 114. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with Utah. It hurts my heart. I do think that the Oregon offense is able to like Utah just had some crazy scoring late in the half that really turned this game sideways. I don't think that happens. My other play in this game is taking under 29 in the first half total, and that's on DraftKings at minus 115. So I'm going Oregon, Utah, first half under 29, and then I'm going Utah minus 2.5 in this.
What were the odds on under in the first half? Is it minus 110?
Minus 115.
Minus 115. Okay. I'm just getting the doc up to date. So
perfect. So yeah, there's 2 of mine. I'll try to do. Yeah, I'll go 2, you go 1 type of thing. So that.
All right. So I'm gonna roll out my underplay of the week that I'm a big fan of, and that's Cincinnati and Houston under 53.5. Let me pull up S&P Plus real quick so I have it in front of me. S&P Plus has this game at about 52-ish. And to be honest, it's a little awkward on that because it still has like the plus 2.5 stuff in there. But You can get this number probably a little bit higher, but you have to pay some juice. I still like it at 53.5 is actually what I have written down. So at 53.5, Houston's defense is really good.
Yeah.
UC's offense isn't special. And Cincinnati, I mean, I think that Cincinnati is going to win this game fairly comfortably, but I still don't expect them to really score a ton of points on this Houston defense that has been pretty solid all year long. I think this game probably is in the high 40s. So I think maybe you get like a 27 to, or I'm sorry, I think maybe you get like a 31 to like 20 at the high end, 31 to like 17, probably in something in that range. I think Cincinnati wins this game by 2 scores. I would lean them on my play, but I don't love it enough to jump in. So that's my first play of the week is Cincinnati and Houston.
I am with you on that. That is one of my best bets for the week. I have that same under 53.5 at -110 on BetMGM. I think one of the reasons this number is high is both these offenses score in the 30s, but I think what people forget is both these defenses keeps teams under 20 points week in and week out. So I think we see more of a defensive battle here. I think both teams are going to be just looking at like Houston's going to try to be scraping out a win here, and Cincinnati's not going to be going crazy trying to blow them out. They know if they win, they're in. So I think your analysis is spot on. I'm going to join you with that under 53.5. I'll give you another one real quick. Another under kind of similar idea here. The Utah State, San Diego State under 50.5. I think that number is too high. I got this one also at BetMGM at -110. San Diego State is a really, really solid defense, and they play an offensive style that doesn't look to put up 40 plus points a week. I think they'll be really comfortable in this game, and with that, they'll be able to keep the pace of play with running the football pretty good. I know Utah State likes to look for those big home run plays. We played Mr. Boner a few times in DFS this year. I don't think they're going to be able to move the football that successfully against San Diego State. So I like the under 50.5 is my favorite play in this game.
I think I'm with you on that one. Let me pull my sheet up. Yeah, I mean, I have that game somewhere in the 40s. It's not one that I would immediately jump on. In that one, if I had to pick a side, I like San Diego State in that game. Even covering, I think I have it. I have the number I have on my sheet is 6, but I'm not looking at it. Yeah, you can get as low as like 5.5 if you go to BetMGM. Not one that I'm going to jump on with you here because, like I said, I haven't looked into it super duper close, but my numbers have San Diego closer to like 10 points. And I think, if I recall correctly, that game is actually at San Diego State. It's not a neutral
I think
site.
So. I believe
so.
You're
That's
correct.
So that one. Well, I don't have any idea, but either way. So my next play, just so I can get them out there, Appalachian State and Louisiana. I'm going to take Appalachian State -2.5. It's -110 over at BetMGM. I think Appalachian State's really good. I'm not entirely sure how they ended up jumping up so high in my power rating, but they're really high in my power rating. And it's because of their defense. So yeah, I have this game, honestly, it's to the point where I kind of question my number a little bit, but I'm seeing about a 7-point edge from a 3-point line. So getting it at under 3, I'm jumping all in this one. So yep, give me Appalachian State.
I was actually leaning
You can play your dog
Louisiana.
here. That's fine.
No, I'm actually not. They were on the sheet but I had to cut it down to 10. Remember, so they were the first one off. So I will not be rolling them out. But I was leaning them. And part of the reason I cut them is just with the Napier news. I don't know what that means for them. You know, like it's hard to analyze a team that just lost their coach. Is he coaching in this game? I actually don't even know.
I would assume not. SEC, when coaches tend to move to the SEC, they kind of
pick up and go.
Yeah, they're gone. But I don't know that that's official yet. So
okay. Well, I'm gonna go to my my favorite dog this week, and that is the Baylor Bears getting last time I checked, it was 5.5. I got that at -109 over at Bet River, which, I'm told is a real sports book. I don't know if it is. Yeah, I think the number's still 5.5. Um, and I think this game's kind of a toss up to me. I think Bohannon's been pretty good when he's been healthy. I don't know exactly what we think. I just Spencer Sanders scares me. I don't know why anyone would be backing him to win a game by 6+ points. So I'm gonna go roll with the Bears in a game that I think Baylor could easily win. I actually was tempted to go money line on this one, but if I go 10-0 this week, I can get real close to breaking even. So I don't want to. I don't want to push it too much. So I'll take this five
I
and a
will
half
say
points
this
with
is the
Baylor.
one dog that on my sheet it actually tells me I should be on. So
But you're not playing this.
I am
one.
not on it. Screw it. I'll be on it. Baylor plus 5.5.
Let's go.
Um,
I love it when you
Yeah.
do that. I don't think we've lost a bet that one of us has joined each other in on the pod. So
yeah. I mean, I like Baylor at this number. I think it's a reasonable spot. I think Baylor's just could potentially be better than Oklahoma State. I don't know that Oklahoma State's amazing. They've been one of those teams that has been fake good all year. Whereas Baylor's kind of just been underrated, I think, most of the year. So
yeah,
might be a sweat. But I'll join you on that one.
nice. Let's go.
All right. You are at 5 right now, so I will let you do one more.
All right, let's go to the game that probably no one actually is going to watch except for maybe you and I.
Because I know what
I
it is.
want Kent State -3 versus Northern Illinois. I don't think Northern Illinois is that good of a team, yet Kent State is, I think, a super fun team. They average close to 250 yards rushing, which is very fun. Of course, Northern Illinois does too, but Northern Illinois can't pass the ball very well. Now, Northern Illinois is 6-4 against the spread in the last 10 games against Kent State, but I think that changes right now. Kent State is on a nice roll. They've gone 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games. I think they make that 5-1. I'm excited to play this game. Let's go, Golden Flashes. I think they win by
You
closer
said you got
to.
it at -3?
I got it at
-3.5?
-3.
Okay.
Last I checked, -3 DraftKings at -110.
Okay.
Has it
That's why
changed?
we'll put it
or-
in this. It has, but I think you can still get it there, so I think you are
Okay.
good.
Cool.
While I'm on that game also, I think that total is really high. You can get it. Let's see if it's still available before I give this number out. Yeah, that game, the total on it is 74.5. You can get it at a whole bunch of books.
Yeah.
You do have to pay -118 on it, but I don't care. I'm going to pay -118. I think these two teams are good. I think, what's his name? Who's the quarterback for Kent State? Crum? Dustin Crum. I think he's very good. I don't know that that's
Wait,
accurate.
are you taking the over?
I'm taking the under.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to look up the quarterback. I think they are Dustin Crum. He's very good. However, 74 is a lot of points.
And they both like to run the
particularly if-
football.
Yeah, I'm just not in on this one. My S&P Plus has this in like the mid 60s, so it is actually it is recommending I jump in on the under with a 7-point gap between what is available out there. So I will roll with this S&P Plus play on it, and just say it's a really, really big number.
Yeah. All right. My next play, I'm going to go to the ACC championship game. We got Pitt versus Wake Forest, two teams that have been super fun all year. I think one of them is just better, and that is the Pittsburgh Panthers. So I know I said I like underdogs this week. Maybe just felt like that.
I literally was typing in the underdog right there for you.
Maybe it's just because I never pick them, and I've got a couple of dogs this week. But I like Pitt to cover this small number. I got it at -3 over on DraftKings at -105. I think
That number is widely available.
I think Kenny Pickett is very good. I think Hartman's fine too, but I don't think he's quite as good. I think this game is going to be very, very high scoring. And so in a high scoring game, I don't mind a number like 3. It's kind of like, who do you think is going to win, and go with them. I will say, I am not going to bet this game myself until Saturday morning, just to see what the situation is. Like right now, I just checked the injury report, and like a lot of guys have the flu over in Pittsburgh, including Kenny Pickett. If he's out, I'm definitely not playing this game.
But for the purpose of the show, you are. And I
Yeah.
guess this means I'm getting my last pick out already. I am joining you on that one. I don't particularly think Wake is very good. I think they were very fraudulent all year. I think their defense is atrocious. I think their offense is it's probably an equal to Pitt, but I think Pitt actually has some guys on defense. So for me, I'm going to go with the team that has been significantly more productive all year, and that's Pitt. So, yep, give me the Panthers -3.
Yep. Well, I like it. So I've got 3 bets left, but only 2 games left that I'm betting. I'm gonna take the under in the first half of Georgia-Bama SEC championship game, the one we're all excited for. I think both teams get off to a pretty slow start. I think the defenses kind of rule the day in general. So I think rolling with the first half under 25.5, I'm getting that at DraftKings at -120. I did not shop around for that. That's just the first place I looked. Because I don't have a cool website that shows me first half unders. I have to go into each of my sports books, and I was too lazy to look at more
Looks
than one
like you can
spot.
get it at -113. So,
Perfect. I'll take that
at
a little
BetMGM.
bit. Perfect. Love that juice going in my favor. I also am going to go ahead and do a same game parlay. They let you do that over on DraftKings and Caesars and a lot of them. And I'm going to stick with that under play. So I'm going to go under 50 and take Georgia money line. And I can get that at +160 on DraftKings. So Georgia and the under 50 in a same game parlay. I think Georgia wins. As much as I think it'd be fun for Bama to win. And so really
Okay.
I just
You're
wanted
saying +160? That was the number you
yeah.
got?
I
Right.
basically
Okay.
wanted to play the full game under, but wanted to juice it up a little bit. So just grab Georgia money line as well. So got that. My final play is controversial. You're gonna hate this. I'm going to the Big Ten. I'm taking my one over of the week. I'm taking over
What?
43 in Michigan, Iowa. We saw what Michigan was able to do to Ohio State. I think they just keep the pedal to the metal. I think even if they want to slow down, they can't. I don't think Iowa is getting up for this. I think Michigan rolls pretty easily. I don't think this is going to be like a point total in the 60s, but I think Iowa's offense is going to leave some really short fields for Corum and Haskins to just pound in a couple of short runs. I think Michigan gets 38 points on their own, so we really only need a Iowa touchdown. So
You can get it at 43, it looks like is the best number.
yeah, that's what I saw too, and I saw it at BetMGM at -112. So I know a lot of people are playing the under, but I'm going over on this one. Little contrarian action in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
That's that's my last pick.
I think that's viable. I think that comparing Iowa's defense to Ohio State's defense is wildly disrespectful to Iowa's defense. I think Iowa will. They're not going to win. Let's be clear. I would take Michigan -10.
Yeah.
It's not one that like stands out a ton on my numbers. I think I have it at like 11. So it's not one I'm jumping on, but I think that Michigan is going to do exactly what you said, which is run the ball a whole lot. And in that case, I just don't want to. I don't know. An over in that one feels like you might be sweating, hoping for Michigan to not take their foot off the gas.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it's an interesting one.
It's a
I'm
low
not sure I'm
number.
going to watch that game.
No, that
'cause
would
it
be
might hurt my
painful.
heart.
Yeah, no,
I
that would
will
be a
say,
hurt.
I want to tell a funny story, which is how petty are Ohio State fans? So as we always do, Ohio State fans assumed that they were going to be in the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis. They bought up all the hotel rooms. The
They're still
Michigan
going.
fans were I don't think they're going. I just think they're going to have rooms sitting there empty.
Oh, they're just not
They
going
were
to sell them to the Michigan guys.
Yeah. So from what I have been reading, Michigan fans have been having a lot of difficulties finding
That's so funny.
finding hotel rooms in Indianapolis. So
That is
if you
that
ever
is
thought
why I
that,
love college football. Is these Ohio State fans would rather just eat their $300 in hotel
Yeah.
rooms just to piss off a Michigan fan, just be like, okay, yeah, fuck you. That's so good.
100%. So I thought that story was funny because it's pettiness at its finest. So yeah. All right. Well, I need to go plug in my baby monitor.
Yes, you do. Yeah, no
and then
DFS
we
this
need
week. We're not going to do that on this slate. But I'm excited for these plays. I will say the Michigan Iowa was the one that won out over the Louisiana App State game. Those are the two I was least confident in. But I still wanted to get that one out there as
I
an
think it's
official pick.
valuable, and you very well might get a situation where Michigan is up like 28-10 or something, and you're just waiting. You're just keeping your fingers crossed that somebody dives in the end zone. So
yeah,
but we'll see. That I just think the pace in that game. I don't have pace numbers in front of me. I haven't updated all my sheets this week. That's where I'm at right now. But yeah, I think the pace numbers between those two teams are probably among the slower, and that'll be kind of an ugly game to watch.
Agreed. Cool. Well, it was good seeing you again, starting up feeling well. Hope you get better. Hope you get a chance to watch some of these games this weekend. My oldest son turns 13 on Saturday, so I'll be smuggling a phone everywhere I go, trying to sneakily watch. But it'll be a good weekend. Anything you'd like to leave listeners with before we take off?
Bye, Chris Olave.
There you go. We'll see y'all next week.
What's up, y'all? I'm David.
And I'm Justice.
And the Don't Trip podcast is now a part of Blue Wire Network. Considering getting back with an ex? Want to know if a pickup line works? Or maybe you're just stuck in the friend zone.
Don't Trip is advice at no price. And we're always going to keep it real.
We engage directly with our listeners with funny segments such as Simpin' or Pimpin', where we rate pickup lines, high questions to answer the unanswerable, or live listener call-ins.
Listen to Don't Trip on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And catch the video versions on YouTube every week.
Don't trip.
We got you.